Well, the random number generator comes very close to Bloomberg Economics. 12,000 jobs created. Last month revised down to 223 from 245. The unemployment rate, no change, 4.1%. The change in manufacturing payrolls, and I assume this has a lot to do with the low overall total, negative 46. Change in private payrolls, negative 28,000. So it does look like we have had some hurricane impact here. And I'm just looking at what the BLS is saying about that. They were during the reference periods, so the survey collection rate, they say, is well below average. And at this point, it doesn't say, I don't see a number in terms of what they think, but they do say that this has all been affected by the hurricanes. So it could be revised significantly next month when more data come in. Rest of the numbers, average hourly earnings up 0.4. That's a surprise. The expectation was for a 0.3 gain. On a year-over-year basis, we're at 4%. Average weekly hours, 34.3, which is also a bit of a surprise. If you're not going to be working because of the hurricane, average hourly hours go up. Labor force participation rate, 62.6. That's down a tick from last month, and that probably has something to do with the hurricanes. And I would say also average hourly earnings higher, probably because a lot of the people who were out of work were lower paid employees in the service industries.
So, Mike, we've got a lot to work through. So let's start with the headline number. The estimate at the high was 180, at the low was negative 10. The number is 12K. So that's a big downside surprise. Let's look first at the bond market and see how yields are reacting to this on a 2-year, 10-year and a 30-year. On a 2-year, we were at 420 going into the number. We're down about 5 at the moment on the session now at 412. On a 10-year, we pulled back by 2 basis points after breaching 430 briefly, just going into the print, 426.66. In the equity market on the S&P 500, just a sneak peek at equities, still near session highs, up by 0.5%. And off the back of this, as you might expect, with lower yields, you push that through foreign exchange. A stronger euro, a weaker dollar, euro-dollar, just pushing 109. Mike, when you look through this, I want to compare and contrast 2 very different things. Headline payrolls and unemployment. Unemployment at 4.1%, steady. Headline payrolls, dramatic downside surprise. 2 different surveys. Tell me about the survey that produces the unemployment rate and the kind of question that would be asked that would generate a steady, stable 4.1%, and maybe that's the cleaner read this morning.
Oh, basically, it's, are you employed? And whereas you have to spend an hour at work, for the establishment survey, if you have a job, if you tell the BLS that you have a job, then you're counted as employed. Now, employment in the household survey went down by 368,000. Unemployment only went up by 150,000, but there was a 220,000 drop in the number of people who were in the labor force. So a lot of people probably, it's a certain extent, could be people who saw their business wash away. They don't know if they have jobs. So at this point, when you put it all together, you get to 4.1%, but it's 2 different ways of looking at it.
Because the challenge for us all this morning is to draw a distinction between cyclical weakness and one-off short-term noise. How easy or difficult is that to do this morning?
Well, I think it's reasonably easy to look at this and say there's a huge hurricane effect. But we don't know exactly what it is, as the BLS says, because the response rate was very low to this survey. Companies did not respond because maybe they were a little bit busy during the time cleaning up. But when you look at manufacturing jobs were down 46,000, construction jobs only up 8,000, and there's usually a rebound in construction jobs after natural disaster as people rebuild, and that probably has not been captured yet in the numbers. Retail trade down 6,000, trade and transport down 1,000, professional and business services down 47,000. That's an area, and temporary help down 49. That's an area you want to check into because we don't know yet whether that's because the economy is slowing, which is usually a sign when you see those numbers go down, or because they were caught up in the hurricane as well. 40,000 jobs in government, which is largely state and local, probably a seasonal effect from education because there are only 1,000 jobs added at the federal government. And then leisure and hospitality down 4,000. That's going to be a hurricane-related thing as well.